The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute professional career, financial, or admissions consulting advice. The decision to apply to or attend any educational institution is a significant personal and financial choice that should be made in consultation with qualified professionals and based on your own individual circumstances and research. He held 2 letters in his hand, one crimson, the other cardinal red. Together, they represented the pinnacle of the American dream, a fork in the road so prestigious that most people can't even imagine standing at the intersection. On one side was Harvard Business School, the undisputed king, the institution that had minted more Fortune 500 CEOs, more titans of Wall Street, and more global power brokers than any other school on the planet. It was the safe bet, the gold standard, the blue-chip brand that guaranteed a seat at the table for life. On the other side was the Stanford Graduate School of Business, the heart of Silicon Valley, the epicenter of innovation, disruption, and venture capital. It wasn't about joining the establishment, it was about building the next one. It was the high-risk, high-reward bet on the future. The founder he was advising had to choose. And his choice, like the choice facing thousands of ambitious people right now, wasn't just about a 2-year MBA program. It was about choosing an identity, a network, a philosophy, a destiny. He was choosing what kind of leader he wanted to become. Would he be the polished, analytical executive who could command a boardroom in New York? Or the visionary, risk-taking founder who could rally a team in a Palo Alto garage? This isn't just a hypothetical. This is the fundamental question at the core of the Harvard versus Stanford debate. And if you're watching this, chances are you're wrestling with it too. Or you're dreaming of the day you'll have to. This is not going to be another boring video reading off US News and World Report rankings. We're not just going to tell you the average GMAT scores and starting salaries. You can find that anywhere. This is your deep dive, your strategic briefing. We are going to deconstruct the very DNA of these 2 legendary institutions, so that by the end of this presentation, you won't just know which school is better. You'll know which school is better for you. We're going to solve the single biggest problem applicants face, cutting through the noise, the prestige, and the marketing to understand the fundamental differences in culture, teaching, and career trajectory that will shape the rest of your professional life. This is the guide I wish I had, the one that gives you the unvarnished truth. Because let's be honest, the stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about a $200,000 investment, plus 2 years of lost income. It's a decision that will cost you close to $500,000. For that kind of money, you deserve more than a brochure. You deserve clarity. You deserve to know what life is really like inside the hallowed halls of Harvard's Aldrich Hall versus Stanford's Knight Management Center. You need to understand how Harvard's legendary case method will forge your mind differently than Stanford's focus on experiential learning and emotional intelligence. You need to see the 2 career paths that diverge sharply the moment you step on campus. One path leads straight to the corner offices of McKinsey, Goldman Sachs, and Blackstone in New York and London. The other path winds through Sand Hill Road, the promised land of venture capital, and the garages of the next billion-dollar unicorn. Choosing the wrong school for your personality and goals is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. An incredibly expensive, soul-crushing, $500,000 mistake. Over the next several minutes, we're going to arm you with the intelligence you need to make the right choice. We've spent hundreds of hours digging through the data, analyzing employment reports, speaking with alumni from both schools, and grilling admissions consultants who know the secret handshake. We're going to go layer by layer, peeling back the mystique and the reputation to reveal the operational reality of each program. You're going to learn not just what they teach, but how they teach, and more importantly, how they shape you to think. You'll discover the subtle cultural codes that define each student body. Is Harvard really a cutthroat, sharp-elbowed environment? Is Stanford just a laid-back campus of future tech brothers? We'll give you the real story. We will map out the power of their respective networks, showing you how a Harvard connection opens different doors than a Stanford one. One is a global, established network built over a century. The other is a concentrated, white-hot network that basically runs the most powerful industry in the modern world: technology. We're going to break this epic rivalry down across the key domains that actually matter. First, we'll tackle the raw numbers, the brutal admission statistics that show just how hard it is to even get a seat at the table. We'll look at the test scores, the acceptance rates, and the demographic profiles of an accepted class. What are they really looking for beyond a 730 GMAT? Then we'll step inside the classroom. It's the ultimate battle of teaching philosophies. Harvard's case method, versus Stanford's experiential learning. We'll explain exactly what that means for your day-to-day life and the skills you'll actually walk away with. After that, we follow the money. We will dissect the employment reports to show you where the graduates actually go. Which school sends more people into private equity? Which is the undisputed king of venture capital and entrepreneurship? The data might surprise you. Finally, we'll talk about the X factors, the campus culture, the social life, the alumni network, and the lifelong brand that will be attached to your name. Are you a Harvard man or a Stanford disruptor? The brand you choose will follow you forever. This is the ultimate showdown in business education. The old guard versus the new guard. East Coast tradition versus West Coast innovation. It's a battle for the future of leadership, and your decision places you squarely on one side of that line. So let's get into it. Let's start with the very first hurdle. The gatekeeper that crushes thousands of dreams a year and anoints a chosen few. The brutal, unforgiving, and deeply misunderstood world of admissions. What does it truly take to get one of those life-changing acceptance letters? Forget the stats you've read online. The real answer is far more complex, and it reveals the very first critical difference between these two giants. To understand the difference, you have to think like an admissions officer. Imagine 2 stacks of applications on your desk. Thousands of them. Each one represents a person with a near-perfect GMAT score, a stellar GPA from a top university, and a blue-chip resume from a place like Google, Goldman Sachs, or the White House. On paper, they are all virtually identical. They are all brilliant. So how do you choose? This is where the paths diverge. Harvard Business School, at its core, is looking for one thing above all else: proven leadership. They are not making a bet on your potential. They want to see the receipts. HBS operates under the philosophy that past performance is the single best predictor of future success. They view their incoming class not as a collection of students, but as a portfolio of future Fortune 500 CEOs, heads of state, and global power brokers. They are recruiting for the C-suite of the world, and they want people who have already demonstrated they can handle the pressure. Think of it this way. HBS is the general manager of the New York Yankees. They aren't scouting promising high schoolers. They are acquiring established all-stars who have already proven they can hit home runs under the brightest lights. The HBS applicant who gets in is the one who led the turnaround of a failing division, the military officer who was responsible for the lives of 100 soldiers in a combat zone, the founder who has already built and sold a company. Their leadership isn't a theoretical concept. It's a series of quantifiable, high-stakes accomplishments. This philosophy is baked into the very DNA of their pedagogy, the CASE method. From day one, you are thrown into a room with 90 other hyper-ambitious, alpha personalities. A professor cold calls you to defend your analysis of a complex business problem in front of everyone. There is no place to hide. This environment doesn't build leaders. It reveals them. It requires students who can walk in the door with the confidence and experience to take a stand, argue a point, and command a room. They need people who have already been in the hot seat. This is why their famous essay prompt is so deceptively simple. As we review your application, what more would you like us to know as we consider your candidacy? Many applicants make the mistake of seeing this as an invitation to tell a heartwarming personal story. It's not. It's a trap. What HBS is really asking is, what is the final irrefutable piece of evidence that proves you are a leader of consequence? Give us your closing argument. They want the story of the time you made the impossible decision, rallied a demoralized team, or took a calculated risk that paid off spectacularly. They want proof. Stanford, on the other hand, plays a completely different game. If Harvard is a general manager looking for proven all-stars, the Stanford Graduate School of Business is a venture capitalist looking for the next visionary founder. They are not investing in your past. They are investing in your future. They are making a high-risk, high-reward bet on your potential to change the world. Their motto, change lives, change organizations, change the world, isn't just a marketing slogan. It's the literal mandate of their admissions committee. Stanford is less concerned with what you have already led, and far more interested in what you will create. They are looking for the spark, the unconventional idea, the relentless drive to challenge the status quo. This is the spirit of Silicon Valley, the ecosystem in which Stanford is so deeply embedded. The entire culture is built on funding crazy ideas from brilliant, often unproven individuals who see the world not as it is but as it could be. This is perfectly captured in their legendary essay question. What matters most to you and why? This question has nothing to do with your resume. It's a deeply personal, introspective probe designed to uncover your core values, your motivations, your soul. They don't want to hear about the deal you closed. They want to hear about the childhood experience that shaped your moral compass. They want to understand the fundamental why that drives every decision you make. A brilliant answer to this question connects a deeply personal story to a larger vision for creating impact. It reveals character, not just competence. While Harvard seeks the polished executive, Stanford is famous for embracing the non-traditional applicant. The poet who wants to disrupt the publishing industry, the scientist with a radical plan to cure a disease, the social activist who wants to scale their nonprofit globally. They are looking for intellectual vitality and a clearly defined mission. They believe that if they find a person with a powerful internal engine and a compelling vision, they can teach them the necessary business skills. So let's boil it down to its essence. Harvard asks, show me the evidence. What have you accomplished? What have you led? Prove to me that you belong in the room with the world's most powerful people. It's a backward-looking evaluation of your track record. Stanford asks, show me your heart. What drives you? What is your unique vision for the future? Convince me that you are going to be the one to build the next world-changing enterprise. It's a forward-looking bet on your potential. Imagine two candidates. Candidate A is a West Point graduate, an Army Ranger who led multiple platoons in high-stakes environments, then transitioned to a top-tier consulting firm where he quickly became a project leader, managing teams and multi-million-dollar client engagements. His entire resume screams proven leadership. He is a quintessential Harvard candidate. Candidate B is a software engineer from a state university. She's never managed anyone, but for the past 3 years, she has spent every night and weekend in her garage building a revolutionary new AI platform that helps nonverbal autistic children communicate. She has no funding, no formal team, just a burning personal mission rooted in her own family's experience, and a prototype that is already changing lives for a small group of users. She is a quintessential Stanford candidate. One is a polished statue of a general, tested and triumphant. The other is a volatile, brilliant seed with the potential to grow into a forest. This fundamental schism in admissions philosophy, proven leadership versus visionary potential, is the earthquake that creates every other difference between the two schools. It doesn't just determine who gets in, it dictates the entire atmosphere of the campus. It shapes the way students talk to each other, the way they learn, the way they socialize, and the career paths they ultimately pursue. So, what actually happens when these two distinct tribes gather? What does it feel like to walk onto campus as an HBS leader versus a GSB visionary? That is where the battle for cultural supremacy begins. Imagine stepping onto the Harvard Business School campus. Feels substantial. The red brick, the Georgian architecture, the sheer weight of history seems to settle on your shoulders. You're walking the same paths as presidents, billionaires, and titans of industry. There's an immediate unspoken message. You are here to join a long line of consequence. You are here to become a general in the army of capitalism. The culture is steeped in this legacy. It's a culture of scale, of power, of managing massive, complex systems. The institution itself is a well-oiled machine, with 900 students per class, divided into 10 sections of 90. This isn't an accident. This is by design. Your section, Section A through J, becomes your world. It's your platoon, your family, and your competition all rolled into one. For the entire first year, you take every single class with these same 89 people. This forced intimacy creates an incredibly powerful and sometimes suffocating social dynamic. Now fly 3,000 miles west. Step onto the Stanford Graduate School of Business campus. The air feels different, lighter. The sun is warmer. The architecture is Spanish-style, open and inviting. It blends seamlessly into the innovative ecosystem of Silicon Valley that surrounds it. The message here isn't about inheriting a legacy. It's about creating your own. You're not joining a line. You're being given a blank canvas and a toolkit. The very structure reinforces this. With a class size of just over 400, the GSB is less than half the size of HBS. The vibe is immediately more intimate, more personal. The culture isn't about managing the world as it is. It's about imagining the world as it could be. It's a culture of creation, of disruption, of starting with nothing but an idea and a team. These two physical and structural realities create the ultimate divergence in the MBA experience, and it starts on day one, in the classroom. At Harvard, the classroom is a theater of intellectual combat. They are the undisputed masters of the case method. Forget lectures. Forget textbooks. Your entire education is built around real-world business problems or cases. Each day you are expected to have read, analyzed, and prepared to dissect up to 3 different cases. You walk into a tiered, U-shaped amphitheater, often called the pit. Your 89 section mates are there. The professor is the conductor of a chaotic orchestra. And then it begins. The cold call. Without warning, the professor will call your name. Mr. Smith, should this company acquire its competitor? Walk us through your analysis. And for the next 10 minutes, it's just you. You're on stage, defending your position against the razor-sharp intellect of the professor and the critical gaze of your peers, who are all graded on participation. It is a crucible of pressure. It's designed to break you down and rebuild you into someone who can think on their feet, communicate with conviction, and make decisions with incomplete data. It's brilliant, it's terrifying, and it's relentless. The entire culture is an extension of this method. Social interactions often feel like a continuation of the case debate. People are constantly testing ideas, challenging assumptions, and sizing each other up. It breeds a certain type of person. Articulate, confident, sometimes bordering on arrogant, and incredibly polished. You're being trained for the boardroom, for the high-stakes presentation, for the corporate battlefield. At Stanford, the classroom is a laboratory for collaborative discovery. While they use cases, the dynamic is fundamentally different. The smaller class size changes everything. It's less of a performance and more of a conversation. The professors know your name, your background, your aspirations. The emphasis isn't on winning the argument, but on exploring the question. They want to know not just what you think, but why you think it and how it makes you feel. And this leads to Stanford's most famous, most revered, and most misunderstood course, Interpersonal Dynamics, known universally as touchy-feely. If the HBS case method is an external boot camp for the mind, touchy-feely is an internal boot camp for the soul. Students are placed in small 12-person T groups for an entire quarter. There is no agenda. There are no cases. The only subject is the group itself, the relationships, frustrations, and emotions happening in the room, in real time. It's about radical honesty and structured vulnerability. You learn to give and receive feedback in a way that is profoundly uncomfortable and deeply transformative. You'll be told exactly how your words and actions make other people feel. You'll confront your own insecurities, your communication flaws, your unconscious biases. It sounds like a Californian self-help cliché, but for GSB students, it is a cornerstone of their education. The belief is simple. You cannot lead others until you truly understand yourself. You cannot build a world-changing company if you can't build authentic human connections. This ethos permeates the entire GSB culture. It's a culture that values vulnerability, encourages introspection, and prioritizes emotional intelligence, right alongside analytical horsepower. This fundamental difference in pedagogy, the HBS cauldron versus the GSB collaboration lab, spills out of the classroom and defines the entire social fabric of the schools. At Harvard, your section is your universe. The school organizes a massive number of social events, but they are often section-based. Section-wide parties, section sports competitions, section trips. This creates intense loyalty and camaraderie, but it can also feel insular and competitive. The Section Olympics is a legendary event where sections battle for supremacy and bragging rights. Networking at HBS is an art form and a science. It's purposeful. You are surrounded by 900 of the most ambitious people on the planet, and there's an implicit understanding that you are all building a network that will pay dividends for the next 40 years. It's a machine for generating powerful connections at scale. At Stanford, the social life is more organic, more serendipitous. With only 400 students, you genuinely get to know almost everyone in your class. The social gravity pulls people together across the entire year group, not just within sections. The culture is less about formal networking events and more about spontaneous hikes in the dish, weekend trips to Lake Tahoe, or small group dinners that end in deep, meaningful conversations. The defining social event at the GSB is called Talk. Every week, 2 students stand up in front of their entire class and share their life story. Not their resume, their story. They talk about their triumphs, their failures, their deepest fears, and their greatest hopes. People cry. People connect. It's the ultimate expression of the GSB's belief in vulnerability as a strength. It's about building a community, not just a network. It's a family, built on shared experience and mutual respect. So you have 2 distinct cultural philosophies. Harvard's is a culture of competitive excellence. It forges leaders through pressure, debate, and intellectual rigor, preparing them to command existing empires. It is a place to sharpen your sword. Stanford's is a culture of collaborative innovation. It nurtures visionaries through introspection, vulnerability, and personal connection, preparing them to build new ones. It is a place to discover what kind of sword you want to build and why. Neither is inherently better, but they are profoundly different. They attract different people, and they produce different kinds of graduates. The question then becomes, how do these two distinct cultural furnaces actually shape the raw material they bring in? Where do these polished generals and these self-aware visionaries actually end up? The answer reveals the true long-term impact of these two philosophies on the global stage. The first, most glaringly obvious difference isn't in a spreadsheet or a salary report. It's on a map. Harvard Business School bleeds into the power corridors of the East Coast. Its graduates form the bedrock of Wall Street, the C-suites of Midtown Manhattan, and the consulting strongholds of Boston and Chicago. Stanford's Graduate School of Business, on the other hand, is the beating heart of Silicon Valley. Its influence radiates outward from a single, hyper-concentrated epicenter of innovation. This isn't just a matter of convenience. It's a profound statement of intent and a reflection of two fundamentally different gravitational pulls on talent. Think of it like this. Harvard places its graduates at the command and control centers of the global economy, the institutions that move massive amounts of capital, that advise the world's largest companies, that manage empires. The three dominant career paths for HBS grads are like a trifecta of traditional power: finance, consulting, and Fortune 500 leadership. A staggering percentage of the class floods into private equity, hedge funds, and investment banking. Why? Because the case method is the perfect training ground for it. It forces you to make decisions with imperfect information under immense pressure, to defend your position with ruthless logic, and to understand the intricate levers of a business from a 30,000-foot view. You're not learning to code an app. You're learning how to decide whether to acquire the company that makes the app. This is the language of Wall Street. Private equity firms don't hire HBS grads to be cogs in a machine. They hire them to run the machine, to identify targets, execute deals, and ultimately, to generate returns for investors. It's a world of high stakes, sharp elbows, and structured astronomical compensation. Then there's consulting. The big three, McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, are practically extensions of the HBS campus. They recruit so heavily from Harvard because the school produces exactly the kind of intellectual athlete they need. The HBS general management curriculum creates a graduate who can be dropped into any industry, from healthcare to heavy manufacturing, and within weeks, be able to speak the language, identify the core problems, and confidently present a multi-million-dollar solution to a skeptical CEO. They are trained to be the ultimate strategic problem solvers, the corporate world's equivalent of a special forces team. This is the polished general in their natural habitat, leading a team, commanding a room, and executing a well-defined mission. The path is clear, the hierarchy is established, and the rewards are immense. Stanford's career landscape looks wildly different. It's less about joining the existing power structure, and more about building a new one. The gravitational pull of Silicon Valley is so immense that tech isn't just a sector. It's the default operating system for a GSB graduate. But here's the critical distinction. While many GSB grads go to work for Google, Apple, or Meta, a staggering number are there to start the next Google, Apple, or Meta. Entrepreneurship isn't just a career track at Stanford. It's a religion. The school's own statistics are mind-boggling. Year after year, GSB graduates create more venture-backed startups than any other business school on the planet, often by a factor of 2 or 3. This is the ultimate expression of the self-aware visionary. The GSB culture, with its emphasis on introspection and touchy-feely classes, pushes students to ask, what unique contribution can I make? Instead of which prestigious job can I get? The answer for many is to build something from scratch. They are drawn to the chaos, the ambiguity, and the terrifying freedom of a blank canvas. They are joined by a massive contingent of their classmates who go into venture capital, forming the other side of the same coin. The ecosystem is completely symbiotic. GSB founders get funded by GSB venture capitalists, who in turn hire GSB talent to scale their portfolio companies. It's a self-perpetuating engine of creation, centered on Sand Hill Road, just a few minutes from campus. They aren't just participating in the tech industry, they are the tech industry. Now let's talk about the number everyone wants to know, the salary. If you look at the median starting salary and bonus for graduates from both schools, you'll be, frankly, underwhelmed by the difference. They are almost always within a few $1,000s of each other, both hovering at obscene levels. But this number is the biggest red herring in the entire debate. It tells you absolutely nothing about the true economic philosophies of these institutions. Focusing on the starting salary is like comparing the top speed of a battleship to a rocket ship. They are designed for fundamentally different journeys. The real story is in the nature of the wealth created. Harvard graduates are masters of what you could call managerial wealth. It's about climbing a steep, well-defined ladder in industries with astronomical cash compensation. A managing director at Goldman Sachs or a partner at a megafund like KKR is going to make an 8-figure income. It's the reward for expertly managing and allocating existing capital. The upside is colossal, but it is, in a sense, a salaried path. Your wealth is a function of the system you work within. Stanford graduates, on the other hand, are chasing founders' wealth. This is the wealth of equity, of ownership. A founder of a startup might pay themselves a tiny salary for years, far less than their HBS counterpart in private equity. Their financial life is one of brutal risk and uncertainty. But if their company succeeds, their 20% stake in a billion-dollar company represents a level of wealth creation that is simply not possible on a salaried career path, no matter how high the bonus. It's a high-variance binary outcome. Most will fail, but those who succeed don't just get rich, they change the economic landscape. They create an entirely new entity that, ironically, HBS graduates in finance and consulting will one day analyze, advise, and acquire. One path is about mastering the existing game of wealth. The other is about inventing a new one. This difference in philosophy echoes through their alumni networks. The Harvard network is a global force of nature. It's a Rolodex of power that spans every industry and every continent. It's formal, it's institutional, and it's incredibly effective. An HBS graduate can get a call returned from almost any CEO, any political leader, any major investor in the world, simply by invoking the name of the school. It's a key that unlocks the doors to the world's most exclusive boardrooms. It's a network of influence. The Stanford network operates on a different frequency. It's smaller, more concentrated, and feels less like a formal institution and more like a collaborative tribe. It's an ecosystem built on shared belief and a pay-it-forward mentality. A GSB founder doesn't cold call an alum for a formal introduction. They text a classmate who is now a VC for a warm intro to a key engineer at a GSB-led unicorn. The currency isn't just prestige. It's a shared experience of trying to build the future. It's a network of creation. One network helps you navigate the world as it is. The other helps you build the world as you think it should be. So we see two distinct pipelines, channeling talent into two different dimensions of the economy. One feeds the established centers of capital and strategy. The other fuels the chaotic frontiers of innovation and disruption. But how does this sorting process actually happen on the ground? What does it feel like to be a student at the center of this corporate tug-of-war? The on-campus recruiting process at these two schools is a spectacle of ambition, strategy, and immense pressure, and it reveals more about their core identities than any employment report ever could. At Harvard, the on-campus recruiting process, or OCR, isn't just a series of events. It's a finely tuned, high-stakes machine, humming with the quiet intensity of a Swiss watch. The season begins almost the moment you set foot on campus. The crisp New England air fills with the palpable tension of ambition. Suddenly, the collaborative spirit of the classroom gives way to a subtle, yet undeniable competition. It starts with the corporate presentations. Imagine the scene. A grand wood-paneled auditorium, filled to capacity. On stage are the managing directors from Goldman Sachs, the senior partners from McKinsey, the titans of private equity firms like Blackstone and KKR. They don't just present, they perform. They paint a picture of a world of consequence, of billion-dollar deals, of shaping the global economy from the highest towers of finance and strategy. The message, both spoken and unspoken, is clear. This is the major league. This is where the world's most important decisions are made. And we are here to select the best of the best. For a first-year student, it's intoxicating. You're surrounded by the smartest people you've ever met, and the most powerful companies in the world are rolling out the red carpet, telling you that you are the future. The process that follows is a gauntlet. It's a meticulously choreographed dance of coffee chats, networking events, and closed-list interviews. The coffee chats are anything but casual. They are 15-minute auditions where you must be charming, intelligent, and demonstrate an almost encyclopedic knowledge of the firm and the industry. The dress code is uniform, a sea of dark suits and conservative ties. It's a culture that self-selects. The process itself filters for a certain type of person. Someone who is polished, articulate, comfortable in structured, hierarchical environments, and capable of projecting unshakable confidence under immense pressure. The path to Wall Street or elite consulting is so well trodden at Harvard that it feels less like a choice and more like a destiny. It's a powerful current, and swimming against it requires a monumental act of will. Your classmates are all doing it. The clubs on campus are geared towards it. The Career Services Office is a well-oiled machine designed to place students into these specific roles. To say no to a six-figure starting salary with a guaranteed bonus from a brand-name firm feels, to many, like a form of insanity. It's a system designed to funnel talent directly into the heart of the existing global power structure. Harvard doesn't just connect you to the establishment. It grooms you to become its next generation of leaders. The recruiting process is the primary mechanism for that transformation. It teaches you the language, the customs, and the mindset of corporate royalty. Now let's fly 3,000 miles west, to the sun-drenched courtyards of Stanford. If Harvard's recruiting is a formal choreographed ballet, Stanford's is an improvisational jazz session. The air here isn't thick with the tension of corporate presentations. It's buzzing with the energy of creation. The uniform isn't a suit, it's a hoodie and a pair of Allbirds. The most sought-after recruiters aren't the managing directors from Wall Street. They're the venture capitalists from Sand Hill Road and the legendary founders who drop by to guest lecture a class. The entire concept of on-campus recruiting is turned on its head. While big tech companies like Google, Meta, and Apple certainly have a presence, the real action, the gravitational center of Stanford's career ecosystem, is the startup world. And you don't recruit for a startup through a formal process. You become a part of its story. The recruiting at Stanford happens in the hallways, at the Arbuckle coffee shop, during late-night brainstorming sessions in the D-Dot school. It's a culture of serendipity. A casual conversation with a classmate could lead to you becoming the co-founder of their new venture. A professor who also happens to be a partner at a top VC firm might hear your idea in class and pull you aside afterward. The most important events aren't corporate showcases. They're hackathons, pitch competitions, and talks by founders who were sitting in those same seats just a few years earlier and are now worth hundreds of millions, or even billions of dollars. The pressure at Stanford isn't to get the most prestigious job. It's to have the most disruptive idea. It's not about how much your signing bonus is. It's about how much equity you have. The entire environment is an incubator. The lines between academia and industry are almost non-existent. You are constantly surrounded by the living, breathing proof that it's possible to build something from nothing and change the world. This creates a fundamentally different kind of student ambition. Instead of perfecting a resume to fit a job description, Stanford students are building products to solve a problem. They're not just learning how to analyze a market, they're learning how to create one. The Career Services Office is less of a placement agency and more of a launchpad, connecting students with seed funding, mentors, and early-stage investors. The entire ecosystem is geared towards risk-taking. Failure isn't stigmatized. It's celebrated as a learning experience, a badge of honor on the path to eventual success. A student who turns down a lucrative offer from a big consulting firm to join a 3-person startup working out of a garage isn't seen as crazy. They're seen as ambitious. They're making a bet on themselves, and at Stanford, that is the ultimate sign of prestige. So, here we see the philosophical divide laid bare. Harvard's recruiting process is a testament to its role as the ultimate pipeline to the world's most powerful existing institutions. It is an incredibly efficient system for identifying and placing elite managerial talent into the command and control centers of the global economy, finance, consulting, and Fortune 500 leadership. The question it implicitly asks its students is, how can you climb the ladder of the established order and run it more effectively? The entire process is about proving you belong, that you can operate and excel within a pre-existing framework of power. Stanford's process, on the other hand, is an expression of its identity as the epicenter of creation and disruption. It is a chaotic, decentralized, and entrepreneurial system designed not to place students into existing structures, but to empower them to build new ones. The question it asks its students is, what new ladder can you build? What old order can you disrupt? It's not about fitting in, it's about standing out. It's not about managing the present, it's about inventing the future. One school perfects the art of the operator, the strategist, the steward of capital. The other perfects the art of the founder, the innovator, the creator of new value. The choice between them isn't just about a job for the next 2 years. It's about an entire trajectory for your life. It's about what kind of impact you want to have and what kind of power you want to wield. And this brings us to the most enduring and perhaps most valuable asset you gain from either institution, something that lasts long after the first job offer fades. It's the one thing that appreciates in value every single year after you graduate: the network. But these are two vastly different kinds of networks, built on two vastly different philosophies of power and influence. One is a global web of institutional control, the other a tight-knit clan of industry-defining disruptors. So which is more powerful, the Harvard Old Boys Club or the Stanford Mafia? To answer that, you have to understand that these two networks operate on fundamentally different principles of physics. One is about mass, the other is about velocity. Let's start with Harvard. The Harvard Business School Alumni Network isn't a club, it's an institution. It's a global shadow government of influence. With over 85,000 living alumni spread across more than 170 countries, its sheer scale is almost incomprehensible. This isn't a network you tap into. It's an atmosphere you breathe. The power of the HBS network is passive, ever-present, and based on one word: legitimacy. An HBS degree is the ultimate credential. It's a signal, recognized instantly in every major capital city on Earth, that you belong. You are part of the establishment. Think about the traditional corridors of power: finance, consulting, multinational corporations, and government. This is Harvard's territory. The CEOs of JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, General Electric, P&G. The titans of private equity at Blackstone and KKR. Former presidents, treasury secretaries, heads of the World Bank. The list is a who's who of the people running the infrastructure of the global economy. The Harvard network is a finely tuned machine for placing its members at the top of these existing hierarchies. When an HBS graduate walks into a boardroom in London, a bank in Hong Kong, or a ministry in Washington, D.C., the person on the other side of the table is likely to be a fellow alum. Or if they aren't, they recognize the brand. It's an immediate bond of shared experience and, more importantly, shared status. The power isn't in a flurry of emails asking for help. The power is in the assumption of competence, the open door, the immediate return phone call. It's a system of gatekeepers who hold the keys to the kingdom, and they instinctively recognize one of their own. Imagine you're an HBS grad aiming to become a partner at McKinsey. Your path is paved by decades of HBS alumni who have walked it before you. They created the playbook. They are the senior partners who will interview you, the mentors who will guide you, and the board members of the Fortune 500 companies you'll be advising. It's a self-perpetuating cycle of elite placement. This network is less about creating something new and more about expertly managing and allocating resources within the vast, complex systems that already exist. It's the difference between being a pirate and being the admiral of the entire Navy. Harvard mints admirals. But what if you don't want to be an admiral? What if you want to be a pirate? What if you want to build your own ship and discover a new world? That's where the Stanford Mafia comes in. The Stanford Graduate School of Business network is smaller, younger, and geographically concentrated to an almost absurd degree. While Harvard's power is diffuse and global, Stanford's is a concentrated beam of energy focused squarely on Silicon Valley and the global tech ecosystem that radiates from it. If the HBS network is a sprawling empire, the GSB network is a tight-knit, highly lethal special forces unit. Its power is not passive. It is intensely active, collaborative, and based on one word: creation. The term mafia isn't an insult. It's a description of function. Like the famous PayPal mafia, the GSB network operates on a principle of intense loyalty and mutual support, with the explicit goal of building and funding the next generation of world-changing companies. This isn't about climbing a pre-existing ladder. It's about building a whole new skyscraper, and then installing your friends on every floor. Look at the landscape of modern technology and venture capital. Stanford is the epicenter. The founders of Nike, Charles Schwab, Trader Joe's, DoorDash, Zillow, StubHub, and NVIDIA. The partners at the most powerful venture capital firms in the world: Sequoia Capital, Kleiner Perkins, Andreessen Horowitz, Greylock Partners. These aren't just alumni with a shared alma mater. They are active participants in a closed-loop ecosystem. Here's how it works in practice. A GSB founder has an idea. They don't just send a cold email to a VC firm. They get a warm introduction from a professor or a classmate directly to a GSB partner at that firm. That partner doesn't just evaluate the business plan. They see a fellow tribe member. They are predisposed to trust the founder's intelligence and drive, because they both survived the same selective environment. Once funded, that founder needs to hire a brilliant head of product. They post the job on the internal GSB alumni portal, and within hours, they have a dozen incredible candidates who all speak the same language of innovation and disruption. Their first major customer might be another company founded by a GSB alum. It's a flywheel. Stanford alumni fund Stanford alumni, who hire Stanford alumni, who then go on to start their own companies and seek funding from the next generation of Stanford VCs. It is a continuous, self-reinforcing cycle of wealth and opportunity creation. The power here is dynamic. It's the ability to conjure billions of dollars and mobilize immense intellectual capital to turn a dorm room idea into a global phenomenon. It's not about getting a seat at the table. It's about building a new table, one so large and important that the old guard has no choice but to pay attention. So you have two profoundly different models of influence. Harvard offers you a key to every established room where power resides. Its network is a testament to the enduring power of institutions, legacy, and widespread systemic control. It's a blue-chip stock, stable, reliable, and immensely valuable over the long term. Stanford, on the other hand, doesn't give you a key. It gives you a crowbar and a blueprint. Its network is a testament to the explosive power of focused innovation, tight-knit collaboration, and the creation of entirely new markets. It's a high-growth tech stock, volatile, dynamic, and with the potential to generate astronomical returns by fundamentally changing the game. The choice between them depends entirely on your definition of power. Do you want to inherit the world? Or do you want to build a new one? The answer reveals which network holds the true advantage for you. But this external expression of power, this alumni network, doesn't just materialize out of thin air. It is forged piece by piece in the culture of the school itself. And the day-to-day experience, the very philosophy of education at Harvard and Stanford, could not be more different. One is a gladiatorial arena designed to sharpen individuals into weapons. The other is a collaborative launchpad designed to fuse teams into rockets. Let's dissect that gladiator arena first. At Harvard Business School, the entire academic universe revolves around a single formidable pillar: the case method. Forget long lectures. Forget passively taking notes while a professor drones on. At HBS, you are the protagonist, the consultant, and the CEO, all before your first cup of coffee. Every single day, you are handed a case, a detailed multi-page document outlining a real-world business problem a real company faced. It could be Nike debating its marketing strategy in the 90s, or a tech startup deciding whether to pivot or perish. There are no answers in the back of the book. There is only data, ambiguity, and a ticking clock. Your job begins the night before, not just reading but absorbing, analyzing, and wrestling with this case. You form a hypothesis, a plan of action. The next morning, you meet with your learning team, a small group of diverse classmates, to debate your viewpoints. This is the warm-up. The real event happens inside a U-shaped amphitheater classroom, with 90 other brilliant, ambitious, and frankly terrified students. The professor is not a lecturer. They are a conductor, a provocateur, and a grand inquisitor all in one. They walk into the room, look out at the sea of anxious faces, and with the calm precision of a surgeon, they cold call someone. "Miss Johnson, what should the protagonist do? And why?" And in that moment, the world shrinks. All 90 pairs of eyes are on you. You have to stand, articulate your position, defend it against the professor's Socratic jabs, and then fend off attacks and alternative theories from your classmates. Participation isn't just encouraged, it's graded. It accounts for 50% of your final grade. Silence is failure. A weak argument is a public failure. The pressure is immense, relentless, and intentional. You will analyze over 500 cases in your 2 years at Harvard. 500 times you will be forced to make a decision with incomplete information. 500 times you will have to defend that decision in a public forum. Harvard isn't just teaching you finance or marketing. It's stress testing your mind. It's forging neural pathways for rapid analysis and decisive leadership under fire. The philosophy is clear. The world's problems are messy and complex. The best way to prepare a leader is to throw them into the mess over and over again, until navigating chaos becomes second nature. It's a baptism by fire, designed to produce a specific type of leader: poised, articulate, and unshakable in the boardroom. Now let's fly 3,000 miles west to the collaborative launchpad. If Harvard's approach is a disciplined, singular martial art, Stanford's is a mixed martial art, a fluid combination of techniques tailored to the situation. The Stanford Graduate School of Business, or the GSB, also uses the case method. But it's just one tool in a much larger toolbox. A typical day at Stanford might start with a case discussion, then shift to a small, intimate seminar on venture capital, led by a legendary Silicon Valley investor, and end with a hands-on workshop where you're building a prototype for a new app. The GSB believes that innovation isn't born from a single, repeated methodology, but from a rich tapestry of experiences. The mantra here isn't just what would you do, but also what could you build, and how do you feel? This is where Stanford's philosophy diverges dramatically from Harvard's. The learning is deeply experiential. Instead of just analyzing what a company did, you're more likely to be put in a team and tasked with creating a go-to-market strategy for a company that doesn't even exist yet. You'll take study trips, called global study trips, where you're on the ground in a foreign country, meeting with entrepreneurs and government officials, not just reading about them. The classroom is porous, constantly blending with the unparalleled ecosystem of Silicon Valley that surrounds it. A professor might be a Nobel laureate in the morning and a board member of a unicorn startup in the afternoon. The guest speakers aren't just names from a textbook. They are the people who wrote the textbook, who are building the future just a few miles down the road. This difference in pedagogy creates two profoundly different student experiences. The Harvard MBA is a general management boot camp. It is designed to take smart people from any background, consulting, banking, the military, and mold them into elite corporate decision makers. The case method is the perfect tool for this. It trains you to quickly grasp the essentials of any industry, identify the key levers, and make a defensible recommendation. It's about pattern recognition on a massive scale. You become a master of the 80-20 rule. A generalist who can step into any complex situation and add value. The person who thrives at Harvard is competitive, loves the thrill of intellectual debate, and is energized by pressure. They want to be the person at the head of the table who makes the final call. The Stanford MBA, in contrast, is an incubator for innovators and changemakers. The school's motto, "Change lives, change organizations, change the world," isn't just a marketing slogan. It's woven into the academic DNA. The varied curriculum is designed to foster creativity, collaboration, and a high tolerance for ambiguity. The focus is less on finding the single right answer to a past problem and more on exploring the many possible answers to a future one. The person who thrives at Stanford is often more introspective, more collaborative, and more comfortable with the messy, non-linear process of creation. They aren't just training to run the existing world. They are training to build the next one. And nothing, absolutely nothing, encapsulates this Stanford ethos more than a single legendary course. It's officially called Interpersonal Dynamics, but everyone, from students to billionaires, knows it by its nickname, touchy-feely. This isn't a class about spreadsheets or supply chains. It's a lab for your soul. Students are placed in small, intimate groups of 12, known as T groups, for the entire quarter. With the help of trained facilitators, you embark on a radical journey of self-discovery. You learn to give and receive brutally honest feedback. You explore how your behavior impacts others, how you're perceived, and the emotional triggers that drive you. It's raw, it's uncomfortable, and it is consistently ranked by alumni as the single most impactful course they took at the GSB. Think about that for a second. At a place that has minted more billionaires than any other school, the most valuable class isn't about finance or strategy. It's about emotional intelligence. Stanford's core belief is that you cannot lead others until you truly understand yourself. You cannot build a world-changing team if you can't navigate the complex, often irrational world of human emotion. While Harvard is sharpening your analytical mind into a weapon, Stanford is working to deconstruct and rebuild your emotional core, turning you into a more empathetic, self-aware, and ultimately more influential leader. So the choice in academic philosophy is stark. Do you want to enter the crucible of the case method, emerging as a polished, battle-tested general who can command any boardroom? Or do you want to enter the incubator, a space of collaboration and self-exploration designed to help you launch something the world has never seen before? The answer reveals more than just what you want to learn. It reveals who you aspire to become, and how these two distinct training grounds translate into real-world careers and fortunes is where the battle for supremacy gets even more interesting. Let's start with the most traditional measure of success: cold hard cash. When you graduate, who puts more money in your pocket? For years, the answer was a statistical dead heat. But recently, a gap has emerged. In the latest employment reports, Stanford's graduates reported a higher median total compensation than Harvard's. The difference isn't astronomical, maybe $10,000 to $20,000 in a package worth over $200,000. But in a rivalry this intense, every inch matters. And that small gap tells a massive story about the economic engines these schools are fueling. Harvard's power is rooted in the bedrock of the global economy: finance and consulting. It is, without question, the undisputed king of Wall Street. If your dream is to walk the floors of Blackstone, KKR, or Goldman Sachs, to command multi-billion-dollar deals in private equity or investment banking, Harvard isn't just the best choice. For many, it's the only choice. The school is a finely tuned machine designed to produce financial titans. The CASE method, with its relentless demand for quick analysis and decisive judgment under pressure, is the perfect training ground. You're not just learning finance. You're simulating the exact mental stress of a high-stakes negotiation or a volatile market day, over and over, for 2 years. This creates a self-reinforcing loop. The biggest Wall Street firms recruit most heavily from HBS because they know the graduates are battle-tested. The students, in turn, see a clear golden path to the most coveted jobs in finance. The alumni network in this sector is less a network and more a dynasty. A Harvard MBA is a passport into the most exclusive rooms in New York and London. It's the old money, blue blood, establishment power that has run the world for a century. So while a Stanford grad might have a slightly higher median salary out of the gate, the sheer concentration of Harvard alumni in the highest echelons of finance means the potential for astronomical wealth, for becoming a master of the universe, is arguably unparalleled. HBS doesn't just get you a job on Wall Street, it positions you to one day own a piece of it. But while Harvard was busy conquering the old world, Stanford was quietly building a new one. Out on the West Coast, the currency isn't just dollars. It's equity. It's disruption. It's the future. Stanford Graduate School of Business sits a literal 10-minute drive from Sand Hill Road, the global epicenter of venture capital. This isn't just a geographical advantage, it's a cultural symbiosis. The air at Stanford doesn't smell like money. It smells like a new idea that's about to raise money. This is why Stanford's median compensation has edged ahead. The packages for top tech jobs, product management at Google, corporate strategy at Apple, or joining a pre-IPO startup, are loaded with stock options and equity grants. That higher median salary isn't just a bigger paycheck. It's a bet on explosive growth. A Harvard grad gets a guaranteed handsome reward. A Stanford grad gets a handsome reward plus a lottery ticket. And in Silicon Valley, those lottery tickets hit, and they hit big. The career data tells the story perfectly. While a massive chunk of Harvard's class plunges into finance, an even bigger chunk of Stanford's class floods the tech industry. And then there's the school's ultimate trump card: entrepreneurship. This is where the debate almost ceases to be a debate. Stanford isn't just a business school that's good at creating startups. It is the most prolific and successful entrepreneurial engine on planet Earth. More GSB graduates found companies than HBS grads. More importantly, the companies they found raise exponentially more venture capital. In some recent years, Stanford MBA-founded companies have raised 2, 3, even 4 times as much capital as their Harvard counterparts. Think about the companies that have defined the modern era, founded by GSB alumni. Nike, Trader Joe's, a co-founder of Netflix, DoorDash, Zillow, StubHub, Warby Parker. The list is staggering. The GSB ecosystem is perfectly designed for this. The touchy-feely classes on interpersonal dynamics aren't just for self-discovery. They teach you how to build a team, inspire loyalty, and pitch a vision. The collaborative, project-based learning isn't just an alternative to the CASE method. It's a direct simulation of the iterative, team-based process of building a product from scratch. You're not just learning how to manage a company. You're learning how to will one into existence. So, if you want to create something from nothing, to be the founder, the visionary, the disruptor, Stanford is your mecca. The entire institution, from the professors who are often active venture capitalists themselves, to the students who might be coding the next billion-dollar app in their dorm room, is aligned to support that singular goal. Now, what about the middle ground? The third pillar of post-MBA careers: management consulting. Firms like McKinsey, Bain, and Boston Consulting Group, or MBB, are the top prize for many graduates. Here, the race is incredibly tight. Both schools are considered super targets, and they flood the ranks of these elite firms every single year. A recruiter at McKinsey once said that the difference between a Harvard and Stanford candidate is one of style, not substance. The Harvard grad, trained by the CASE method, can tear apart a problem, analyze it from every angle, and present a bulletproof, data-driven solution with ruthless efficiency. They are analytical assassins. The Stanford grad, on the other hand, excels at the client-facing aspects. They are masters of empathy, of building consensus, of telling a compelling story that gets an entire organization to buy into a new direction. They don't just solve the problem. They make the client feel good about the solution. Both approaches are incredibly valuable, and consulting firms hire armies of both. So if your goal is consulting, the choice between Harvard and Stanford is less about which school will get you the job, and more about what kind of consultant you want to be. But let's look beyond that first job. What happens 10-20 years down the line? Who ends up running the world? If you measure power by the number of Fortune 500 CEO positions, Harvard has historically held a commanding lead. The HBS network is a corporate machine, a conveyor belt to the C-suite of the world's largest, most established companies. It is the institution of choice for climbing the traditional ladder of power. Stanford's alumni, however, are playing a different game. They're not just climbing the ladder, they're building new ladders. A GSB grad is less likely to be the CEO of General Motors, and more likely to be the founder of a company that is trying to make General Motors obsolete. This creates a fascinating divergence in the definition of long-term success. Is it better to command an existing empire or to build a new one from the ground up? Is power measured by the size of your budget and the number of your direct reports, or by the scale of the industry you've disrupted? So while the paychecks might look similar on paper, the paths to those fortunes, and the very definition of success they represent, could not be more different. But a career is more than a salary. It's a network. It's a brand. And the social fabric of these two institutions is where the final and perhaps most important battle is waged. The social fabric of these two institutions is where the final and perhaps most important battle is waged. Because when you graduate, you don't just get a piece of paper. You get a key to a hidden world, a global tribe, a network so powerful it operates like a shadow government in the worlds of business and finance. But the Harvard key and the Stanford key unlock very different doors, leading to fundamentally different rooms, filled with different kinds of people. Let's start with Harvard. The Harvard Business School network isn't just a network, it's an institution. Think of it as an ancient, global empire with consulates in every major city on Earth. It is the establishment. It's Wall Street, the City of London, the C-suites of the Fortune 500, the halls of the World Bank. The brand is pure, unadulterated blue-chip prestige. The Harvard MBA is a universally understood symbol. It communicates rigor, analytical prowess, and an implicit understanding of how the traditional levers of power work. It's a stamp of approval that needs no translation from Boston to Beijing. This empire is built on a foundation of shared suffering, forged in the crucible of the HBS section. Imagine being thrown into a room with 90 of the most ambitious, intelligent, and fiercely competitive people you've ever met. For the entire first year, this is your family, your team, and your competition. You live and die by the case method. Every day you are cold called, forced to defend your position, to think on your feet, to persuade and to be persuaded. It's an intellectual boot camp, and the bonds formed in that high-pressure environment are profound. They are bonds of deep mutual respect, born from seeing your peers at their best and their worst. 20 years later, when you call a section mate for a favor, they remember you defending a disastrous strategy for a Brazilian mining company on a cold Tuesday morning. They pick up the phone. The result is a network that is structured, formal, and incredibly efficient. HBS alumni clubs are powerful, well-funded entities that host exclusive events in every corner of the globe. The alumni directory is a modern-day Rosetta Stone for global business. Need an introduction to a private equity partner in Hong Kong? There's an HBS alum for that. Trying to understand the regulatory landscape in Germany? An HBS alum is likely running that department. It's a network designed for climbing the ladder. It's about access, influence, and perpetuating a legacy of leadership within the existing structures of global capitalism. The unspoken agreement is that you help other members of the tribe because you know the standard they've met. You know they survived the same trial by fire. But there's a flip side to this imperial structure. To outsiders, and even to some insiders, it can feel rigid, hierarchical, and even a bit dated. It carries the weight of tradition, which can sometimes be slow to adapt. The brand is so powerful that it can overshadow the individual. You are not just Jane Smith. You are Jane Smith, HBS Class of '08. It's a network that excels at placing its people into positions of power. But is it the best network for creating something entirely new? For tearing down the old structures rather than running them? That is the question that opens the door for Stanford. If Harvard's network is an empire, Stanford's is a revolutionary movement. It is a decentralized, informal, and intensely personal web of innovators, builders, and dreamers. Its capital isn't a city but an idea: Silicon Valley. The Stanford GSB brand isn't about fitting into the existing world. It's about creating the next one. It signals creativity, a high tolerance for risk, and a bias toward action. It's a brand that speaks the language of venture capital, of term sheets, of scaling, of disruption. It is the new establishment. Where Harvard forges its bonds in the intellectual combat of the case method, Stanford builds its community on a foundation of radical vulnerability. The cornerstone of the GSB social experience is a legendary course called Interpersonal Dynamics, known universally as touchy-feely. In small, confidential groups, students are taught to give and receive brutally honest feedback, to share their deepest insecurities, their fears, and their ambitions. They learn to build trust not through intellectual sparring, but through genuine human connection. It's an experience that fundamentally rewires how students relate to one another. It breaks down the armor of ambition and replaces it with a shared sense of purpose. The result is a network that feels less like a professional organization and more like a tight-knit family of co-conspirators. With a class size less than half of Harvard's, the community is intimate by design. People know each other on a deeply personal level. The network isn't activated by formal club meetings in fancy hotels. It's activated over a coffee at the Arbuckle Dining Pavilion, a weekend hiking trip in Tahoe, or a late-night call to a former touchy-feely group member asking for advice on firing a co-founder. This network is geographically concentrated but ideologically global. Its heart beats in Palo Alto, but its influence is felt wherever technology is changing the world. A GSB degree is a backstage pass to the world of tech and venture capital. The alumni list reads like a who's who of the people who have built the digital world. Meeting a fellow alum isn't just a networking opportunity, it's a potential partnership. There's an immediate assumption of a shared ethos, a desire to build, an impatience with the status quo, and a belief that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can in fact change the world. Of course, this revolutionary zeal has its own potential pitfalls. The network can feel insular, a Silicon Valley echo chamber where the only problems worth solving are the ones that can be addressed with an app and a seed round. The change the world mantra, while inspiring, can sometimes ring hollow when applied to the next food delivery service. If your dream is to become a managing director at Goldman Sachs or a partner at McKinsey in London, the GSB network, while still powerful, might not be as laser-focused on that path as Harvard's. To truly understand the difference, let's imagine two graduates 10 years out. Meet Catherine, HBS 14. She's a principal at a mega-fund private equity firm in New York. Her world runs on the HBS network. Last week, she was doing due diligence on a manufacturing company. She got on the phone with a section mate who is now a senior executive at a competitor, who gave her the unvarnished truth about the industry's headwinds. The deal was financed by a team at a major investment bank, led by another HBS alum. The consulting firm they hired to model the synergies was staffed with, you guessed it, HBS grads. For Catherine, her network is a high-performance machine for executing deals and navigating the complex world of corporate power. It is a golden Rolodex that provides instant credibility and access. Now meet Leo, GSB 14. He's the CEO and founder of a climate tech startup, his second venture. His first company, a fintech app, was acquired. The seed money for his current company came from a venture fund run by a GSB classmate. His co-founder was a woman he met in his touchy-feely group, where he first shared his anxieties about leaving a stable job to pursue his dream. His board of advisors includes two legendary GSB alumni, who have built and sold multiple billion-dollar companies. When he hits a roadblock, he doesn't consult a directory. He sends a text to a group chat of GSB founders who help each other troubleshoot everything from fundraising strategy to managing burnout. For Leo, his network is a support system and a collaborative ecosystem. It's a safety net that encourages him to take massive risks, knowing his tribe will be there to offer advice, introductions, and maybe even the first check for his next big idea. Catherine is conquering the world that is. Leo is building the world that could be. Neither is better, they are simply different games. And the school you choose is, in many ways, a decision about which game you want to play. It's a choice between the polished mahogany boardrooms of the East Coast and the sun-drenched whiteboards of the West Coast. A choice between a life of structured ascent and a life of chaotic creation. This choice extends beyond your career. It defines your social life on campus. At Harvard, the energy is one of intense, focused ambition. The campus itself, with its stately brick buildings and palpable sense of history, feels like a constant reminder of the legacy you are expected to uphold. The social life is often an extension of the classroom, structured, competitive, and centered around networking. At Stanford, the vibe is one of boundless optimism. The sprawling, sun-soaked campus feels less like an ancient institution and more like a futuristic laboratory. The palm trees and casual dress code belie the ferocious intelligence and drive of the student body. The social life is spontaneous and collaborative, built around startup weekends, design thinking workshops, and brainstorming sessions that bleed late into the night. It's a place that asks not what is your 5-year plan, but what is your moonshot? So the network isn't just a resource, it's a reflection of the school's soul. Harvard offers you a seat at the table. Stanford encourages you to build a new table entirely. One is a meticulously crafted key to the existing kingdom. The other is a set of tools to build your own. The question you have to ask yourself is not which one is more powerful, but which one fits the shape of your own ambition. We've dissected the money, the careers, the brands, and the tribes. But there's one final element we have yet to explore. It's the most intangible, yet arguably the most enduring factor of all legacy. Beyond the wealth and the power, what is the ultimate purpose these institutions instill in their graduates? What is the mark they are meant to leave upon the world? Because in the final analysis, that is the ultimate return on investment. This legacy is a philosophy, a worldview etched into the very DNA of each institution. It's the invisible hand that guides a graduate's decisions long after they've left the lecture hall. And the philosophies of Harvard and Stanford are born from two fundamentally different Americas. Harvard Business School's legacy is one of stewardship. It is the inheritor of the American century, the custodian of established power. Born in 1908, it came of age as the United States was cementing its place as the dominant global force. Its purpose was to train the managerial class that would run this new empire of industry and finance. The Harvard graduate is trained to be a master of the existing system. They learn the intricate rules of the game, of capital markets, of multinational supply chains, of corporate governance. Not to break them, but to perfect them. They are taught to be the steady hand on the tiller of the world's most powerful institutions. The HBS case method is the perfect training ground for this. It presents a world of complex, but ultimately solvable, problems within a known framework. It asks, given these constraints, what is the optimal path forward? It teaches you to be a brilliant diagnostician, an expert decision maker inside a machine that is already built. The legacy here is about preservation, optimization, and responsible leadership. Think of the quintessential HBS alumni. They are the CEOs of the Fortune 500, the partners at Goldman Sachs, the cabinet secretaries in Washington. They are people like Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase, who navigated the world's largest bank through the 2008 financial crisis. His job wasn't to invent a new banking system. It was to ensure the existing one didn't collapse. It was an act of supreme stewardship. The Harvard legacy is to take something great, something powerful, and make it greater, more powerful, and more enduring. It's about being entrusted with the keys to the kingdom and leaving that kingdom stronger than you found it. The ambition is not to build a new world, but to masterfully command the one that is. It is a legacy of order, of influence, of wielding immense power with precision and responsibility. It is the legacy of the admiral, not the explorer. Stanford's legacy, on the other hand, is one of creation. It is the architect of the future. The Graduate School of Business was a relative latecomer, founded in 1925, but it truly found its soul in the post-war boom of Silicon Valley. It didn't grow up surrounded by the marbled institutions of the East Coast. It grew up amidst the orchards and semiconductor labs of Northern California. Its spirit is not one of inheritance, but of invention. The Stanford graduate is trained to question the very system Harvard's graduates are taught to master. They learn the rules of the game so they can identify which ones are ready to be broken. The GSB's emphasis on experiential learning and entrepreneurship is the perfect incubator for this mindset. It doesn't just ask, what is the optimal path forward? It asks, does this path even need to exist? Can we build a new one? It teaches you to be a visionary, an inventor, a founder who sees a blank canvas where others see a finished painting. The legacy here is about disruption, innovation, and relentless progress. Think of the quintessential GSB alumni. They are the founders of world-changing companies, the venture capitalists funding the next paradigm shift. They are people like Phil Knight, who didn't want to just run an existing shoe company. He wanted to create a global culture around a brand, Nike, that he built from the trunk of his car. Or Reed Hastings, who saw the friction and inefficiency of the video rental model and didn't try to build a better blockbuster, he built Netflix, rendering the entire old model obsolete. The Stanford legacy is to look at the world, not as a kingdom to be managed, but as a series of problems to be solved by building something new. The ambition is not to climb the existing ladder, but to build a rocket ship. It is a legacy of controlled chaos, of risk, of creating power where none existed before. It is the legacy of the pioneer, not the prince. So we arrive at the heart of the matter. The final defining difference between these two schools is not the salary, not the network, not even the curriculum. It is the fundamental question they teach you to ask. Harvard teaches you how to answer the question, how? How do we increase market share? How do we optimize this process? How do we lead this organization to victory within the current competitive landscape? It produces the world's greatest answers. Stanford teaches you how to ask the question, why? Why does this industry operate this way? Why is this the accepted solution? Why can't we build something entirely different that makes the old way irrelevant? It produces the world's greatest questions. One school forges the leaders of the establishment. The other forges the leaders of the anti-establishment. One perfects the present. The other invents the future. Choosing between them is not an intellectual exercise in weighing pros and cons. It is a deeply personal act of self-discovery. It forces you to confront your own ambition, your own tolerance for risk, and your own definition of impact. Do you see yourself as a steward or an architect? Are you motivated by the challenge of managing immense complexity, or the thrill of creating something from nothing? Is your goal to sit at the head of the table, or to build a new table altogether? There is no right answer. The world needs both. It needs the steady hand of the Harvard-trained CEO to guide a trillion-dollar company, ensuring stability for millions of employees and investors. And it needs the restless mind of the Stanford-trained founder to challenge that same company's existence, pushing the boundaries of what is possible and preventing stagnation. One provides the stability that allows for progress. The other provides the progress that challenges stability. They are two sides of the same coin of human endeavor. So, after this deep dive, after analyzing the culture, the money, the power, and the philosophy, which U.S. business school is better? Harvard or Stanford? The truth is, the question is flawed. It's like asking if a hammer is better than a screwdriver. The value of the tool depends entirely on the job you intend to do. The real question isn't which school is better. The question is which school is better for you. The decision rests on the kind of mark you want to leave on the world. Do you want to refine and perfect the systems that govern our lives, making them more efficient, more powerful, and more just? Do you find purpose in the immense responsibility of leadership within the world's most critical institutions? If so, the hallowed halls of Cambridge may be your proving ground. Harvard will give you the tools to command the present. Or do you want to challenge those very systems, to look at the status quo and see not an endpoint but a starting line? Do you feel a pull toward the unknown? A desire to build the industries and technologies that will define the next century? If so, the sun-drenched campus of Palo Alto may be your launchpad. Stanford will give you the tools to create the future. The final verdict doesn't lie in a ranking or a YouTube video. It lies in a mirror. It's a choice between two noble paths, two powerful legacies. A choice between inheriting the earth or building a new one. The answer to which school is better is written in the code of your own ambition. And that is the only ranking that will ever truly matter.